Happy Easter everybody, happy Good Friday, and it's a beautiful day. It's going to be a beautiful weekend in the UK, and I'm looking forward to doing some great photography in my garden because we're all locked down at the moment. One of the good things about lockdown is I could just grab a shirt out of the ironing and not even bother ironing it because I ain't going nowhere, apart from on YouTube. I'll just stick it on, I don't care. Whoa, 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 hang on, stop it, stop it, stop it. It's Peter Elgar's birthday today. He's 83, he's just sent me an email. So if you don't know who Peter Elgar is, check his YouTube channel out. He's a fantastic guy. And if you want to wish him a happy birthday, jump on his channel and do so. Or you can put a comment on the pinned comment thing on this video, wishing him all the best for his birthday. Happy birthday, Pete. I've got this Chinon CE5 camera that I bought a while back, and it's a fantastic little bit of kit. I do enjoy shooting it, and with it came a extension doubler, and I've never tried it out. I've never done anything with it. I did have a look online and find out some reviews. People said it was awful, but you know me, I just like to shoot something and find out for myself. I think sometimes that's the best way. You go online, you start reading reviews about something, unless it's an expensive piece of kit, of course, it could put you off. But you know, best way is to see how it works for you. So that's what I'm going to do with just a standard 50mm lens stuck at the end of it. I've also got a nice bit of film in there, Kodak 2238 film, which was kindly sent to me by Matt Jones in Thailand. And they say, do you mind, mate, making a YouTube video here? Cheeky bugger. It says, Kodak 2238 is a gorgeous ultra-low ISO black and white film that shoots both portraits and landscapes beautifully. The film is not typically used for pictorial images and is intended for making black and white archival separation positives from colour negative originals. So let's crack on. I'll show you some of the stuff I'm going to shoot and see where we get on. Lockdown, great, isn't it? I remember this from the other day when I went out on a bike ride on my old bike. That's where I'm going to start. I'm going to start doing some macro work around the bike, the cogs and the chain and stuff like that. I can remember when I was younger, I used to go around Greenwich Market in London, and I used to see black and white framed prints on this market stall, and it was all of bikes, and it always used to fascinate me. You know, I thought the pictures were great. So that's what I'm going to do, start off with some macro shots on the bike in the sunlight. I've had enough of the bike now, just got a little bit bored with that, so I bought some roses out into the garden. I've put these in the shade, these ain't going to go in the sunlight. The bike looks alright in the sunlight because it's all metal and stuff, you know, got some highlights going on. But these, I just want them a bit softer, so I've brought them into the shade and I'm using the garden furniture as a nice dark background for them. These were bought for my wife by my neighbour. So this is the first roll that I shot, and you can see all the ones of the bike are way underexposed. It's just hard to find any detail in there whatsoever, and that's what triggered me to think, what on earth's gone on? The roses come out okay, and the rest of it, when I started shooting without the extension tube and metered up, they looked okay as well. There's a couple there of George. But what happened with the underexposed ones? Well, I figured out. So it's quite interesting. When I shot that first roll on the bike, they all came out, as you saw in the negatives, underexposed. And I couldn't figure it out. Then I thought to myself, does the extension tube need more light than what you've metered for? So what I did, I just used the camera's metering system. Had a look with the 50mm on, did a measurement, and then I put the extension tube on, and it gave me 2 stops more exposure needed for that extension tube. So that's what I went back and put another roll in the camera, went out, shot the bike again in the sunlight, got those gears and cogs and shit like that. This time I added a couple of stops more exposure, more light into the camera, and I seem to have got much better negatives. So let's see what we can do in a print. So I'm just going to quickly do a test strip. Just get my timers on the enlarger. Piece of paper there. Just go right across the middle. I'll do this for, leave the glasses on, 2 seconds at a time. That's 2. The aperture's at 5.6. I'm not intending to do any dodging or burning. Just want to nail it with the contrast filters. I have to do some split grade, I don't know until I find out what this test strip's going to give me. These are all 2 seconds. One more. Last one. So all 2 seconds there. Let's develop that and see what it's going to give us. So here's my first test strip, 2.5 grade filter. I've got increments of 2 seconds at 5.6 on the enlarge of the aperture. So I've got 2, 4, 6, blah 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 blah. It's all too dark. But 2 seconds is a bit too light. 4 seconds, I suddenly hit that and I thought, let's see what happens at 4 seconds. It looks okay to me. And this is my test strip at 4 seconds. So I just basically place this piece of paper under the enlarger for 4 seconds as my first test strip. Give me a hunch to do, and I was quite happy with the tones that I was getting. I don't know what this middle part of the wheel's called, the bit that holds it all together, all the spokes, the centre bit. That seemed to be okay. So let's do another one at 4 seconds. In fact, not a test strip. Let's go for a print at 4 seconds and see what we get. Right, so with that test strip being at 4 seconds, I'm just going to go for a print at 4 seconds. Let's see. Well, I don't have to see how it looks because I'm not going to make any other prints. You know, it's put some clamps down. Right, okay, 4 seconds. Simple printing, this one, no dodging, burning, no split grade filtering. Let's put it in the developer. With that done, get it inside the stop valve, just drain the excess off. It's now going to stop the development process. It's not going to develop any further inside that developer. It was in there for a couple of minutes, so there's no more developing to be done, but let that drain off, stop bath. And my fixer tray is above the stop there, and I've got it there because it's just a space saver in my darkroom, and you just got to be careful not to spill any fixer into any other trays, particularly the developer. You just got to be careful, that's all. And these tongs that I use, I've got these in the cookery shop, you know. These are kitchen tongs, because I kept getting fed up with my darkroom tongs I kept buying. They just kept breaking and snapping. So I bought those. They were £3. My darkroom tongs that keep snapping were about £7 each. Okay, we'll let that wash. I'll show you it dry. And here it is. It's still drying at the moment, but I'm happy with that. 4 seconds, that's a print that I've made. As you can see, a few little tiny bits of dust marks that I've picked up. I haven't cleaned the negative, but do you know what? It's such a rugged looking image with the grease, the oil, the spokes. These little tiny bits of dust and crap, they don't bother me in a print like this. If it was a seascape or something, it would bother me, but because this is kind of like a rugged looking print, those little tiny dust marks are not going to bother me whatsoever. This is never going to sell for £1 million, so that ain't going to bother me. That's just going to go in my box and my collection of prints that I've made along my journey. So that was good fun trying a new film out today. These are the negatives. Look, they're really curly film, actually. I'll have to flatten these out at some point. But interesting stuff, you know, to play around with. Come out of your comfort zone and try new films and new techniques and what have you. And also using this little tiny extender that I was using from Tokina. Do you know what? I read online it was an awful piece of kit. I didn't find it too bad. That's one print that I made. You can see that. I'm going to try and get the light off of it for you. There you go. That's one print that I've made there of the bike. Not too bad at all. The sharpness ain't as bad as people were saying, so I don't know what all the fuss was about. I'm quite glad I tried it out. So that's the Bike Cogs one that I did. That was on the second roll of negatives where I got the exposure a little bit better than the first one. And then I did some photographs of my favourite photography books that I've got there. And you can see the Zeiss Icon Netar at the end. The other side is in the shade, or in the shadow, so you wouldn't really see that. But that came all right, nice and sharp. That was without the extender. And that one there, I don't know if you recognise, that's quite an interesting print. That's my Zeiss Icon Netar that I took a picture of, but I completely blew out the top in the photograph. So as I was developing this film, I could see straight away there was no detail coming out in the top of the camera. So all I did, I just quickly flashed the darkroom light above the developer on for a fraction of a second, literally on off, and then it hit light on the paper, which I then stopped and fixed, and I managed to just basically flash in the paper, if you like, while it's in the developer. I managed to get the highlights back in this print. You'll see the difference on the inertia of the paper, like so. So the background, look, so you can see where I've hit the light on it. But it's made an interesting look, you know, it's made it quite interesting. And I couldn't go away without taking a photograph of Jules. That's one I took in the garden of him when he was just sitting there looking at me. That was without his sausage in his mouth. My wife will love that one. I'll have an Easter egg for that probably, that'd be nice. And this one here, what happened there? Well, I'll tell you what happened. My paper box was slightly open, and when I opened the darkroom door, boof, the top bit of paper just got exposed with light. And I'll tell you what, it was only open a fraction, so be careful with your paper in your darkroom when you're turning your lights on. I'm usually extra careful, but this time it was just open a fraction, and that's what happened. The rest of the paper was fine underneath it, but look at that, bosh, black as anything, eh? So that was a bit of lockdown fun photography, shooting a film that's brought me out of my comfort zone, and also shooting that extender as well. I haven't shot that before. And, you know, just playing around with new and different things. So thanks very much for watching the video. Happy birthday to Peter Elgar. Guys, don't forget, I'll stick a pinned comment on there on his birthday. Reply to it. I'm sure he'd love to read it. Thanks to all the likes, the subscribers, the people that support me on Patreon. I'll catch you next time.